let's focus on Biden, and let's focus on Obama. Okay, when Obama first got elected, the threat was, oh, this guy may be a communist. You guys got to be careful because his father, when he wrote the book about his father, and mother, and the influence that he had in his life growing up, and Van Jones, when he was first, Van Jones used to be linked to a communist. But, oh my gosh, this guy may be a communist. I don't want to go. And then the guy got elected. Okay, I mean, he did some stuff, but Obama wasn't as scary as people thought he was going to be, right? I would say, even as somebody that's fiscally conservative, registered independent, people thought he was going to be a lot of people were worried about what he was going to do, fundamentally changing things. Now you got a Sanders. He is fully fundamentally on the complete opposite side. AOC, fully on a whole different side. Like Bernie Sanders probably doesn't think that Obama did enough. Like he should have done this and he should have done that. And secretly, he probably feels disappointed with the amount of social programs that Obama came up with or didn't come up with, right? What I'm asking here is the following. I'm trying to find out for myself, and maybe this is a selfish question I'm asking. The world knows socialism doesn't work. The world knows communism doesn't work. The world knows you can't show a product that was developed from that system. Even all these countries like Russia and China eventually said, dude, we got to get to this capitalism system to give people to own businesses and have identity and all this other stuff. What is the motive to get the only country left in the world that's the leading country in the philosophy of capitalism? If this thing goes, a lot are going to follow. Why would you drive the initiative of socialism knowing that doesn't work? What is the motive behind that? It's got to be more than the professors thinking, the fact that the plumber's making $500,000 you without a degree. It's got to be bigger than that. What's the motive?
It operates on many levels. That's just one level. Here's another level. You've got all these young people, and they are actually living in the middle of technological capitalism, but they're a little bit like the fish that is not really conscious of the water, because the water is all around them. So their world includes Uber and iPhones and Airbnb and GPS. Now, none of this would have come without technological capitalism, right? If you had left it up to the post office, for example, they probably wouldn't even have thought of overnight mail. It took outside private companies like UPS and FedEx, and then the post office goes, oh, wow, even though the airplane's been around for 100 years, we can still do that. We can do it now. So they got, but no innovation comes out of government per se, or very little. But for a lot of young people, they take all this for granted. They never think about how did all these things come to be? They didn't magically fall out of the sky. What is the system that produced them? They don't think about that. Rather, what they think about is simply this. They have, and I think their professors are very complicit in this, have inculcated in them the honest belief that capitalism is unjust. And in fairness, I have to say that the defenders of capitalism don't do a good job in explaining why it is just, not just why it is efficient, but why it is just. So, for example, if a guy makes something, let's just take me as an author, for example. Now, if I write a book and I publish it, and it happens to be during the Great Depression, and nobody buys the book is, let's say, a failure. And then 10 years later, the economy recovers and is doing better, and I issue the same book, and it's a massive success. Think about it. It's the same book. In terms of the merit of it, I've released the same product, but in one environment, it's unsuccessful. In another environment, I'm a millionaire. So the ordinary guy looking at that goes, well, how can a system be just when the same product in two different environments produces a completely different outcome? So what happens is young people are raised to believe that there's something completely arbitrary about the rewards of capitalism, and therefore they become vulnerable to the argument, hey, why don't we have a different organization? Maybe socialism in the old sense doesn't work, but it is partly the American optimism that says we can find a way that's going to make it work. We're going to find a way that will leave all the problems of the past behind. And so, for example, one common thing you hear politicians say is, we don't want authoritarian socialism. We don't want the socialism of Mao and Lenin and Stalin. We're not going there. We want democratic socialism. And so if you listen to AOC or Bernie Sanders, they almost never use the word socialism without the adjective democratic.
Yes.
Why? Because they believe that democracy, this idea of popular consent, gives more legitimacy to the idea of socialism. So they're trying to create in fairness, they're trying to create something of a new type of socialism that hasn't existed before. The only question is, when something has been tried, not once or twice, but 25 times across virtually 2/3 of the world and failed every single time, what makes you think it's going to succeed now?